What's up, Scoops? Today we're going to be talking about Dana Sue Gray. She was born Dana Armburst and her parents were Beverly and Russell Armburst. Her father was very passive to a mother who was incredibly aggressive, maxed out all of his credit cards. He hated it but said nothing up until the day when he found Dana's mother literally physically fighting an older woman who had angered her. On that day, they got a divorce. Dana was 2 and went to live with her mother. Her mother just basically gave her everything she possibly could. Since she was incredibly materialistic, she taught her daughter to be the exact same way. She never really taught her that she had to pay attention to the word no. If she wanted a dolly, she got the dolly if her mother could come up with the money. So she grew up, she always kind of had this idea of whatever I want, whatever I don't want, I'm not gonna do. In school, she didn't really want to do her homework or study, so she got horrible grades. She didn't really get along with any of the other kids because other kids were growing up. Meanwhile, she was kind of staying a little girl. Her mother died of breast cancer when she was 14, and then she went to live with her father, which is kind of the first time that they actually really got to talk since she was 2. And although that was the beginning of a really great father-daughter relationship, the actual living situation didn't last so long because her stepmother found some drugs in her room and kicked her out. A few years later, Dana moved in with a skydiving instructor while she went to nursing school. During this point, she got pregnant twice and he talked her into aborting both of them, for which she was very resentful. After that, she dated a windsurfer and then finally married William Gray in 1987, which is where we finally get to the famous moniker Dana Gray. They were married for a little over 5 years, during which Dana put them so deeply into debt following her mother's pattern that they eventually had to file for bankruptcy, at which point Dana divorced him and moved in with her lover. And later that same year of 1993, she was fired from the hospital because it was found out that she was stealing drugs. Now she had no husband to support her, no job to support her, and had this bankruptcy thing over her head. So she came up with a plan. She got in contact with her soon-to-be ex-husband, asked him to meet her. At first he said, sure, I'll be there, but then he never actually showed up. What he found out later made him really glad to not have shown up, because it turned out that she'd taken out a life insurance policy on him, and the policy would pay for the house that they'd had to give up because of her spending, money that she would have received as soon as he died. Dana, arriving at the meetup point to find out that he was not there, came up with another plan, and later on that day, she murdered Norma Davis. Norma Davis was an elderly woman that she shared a house with when she was younger. She thought the perfect plan was to get invited inside the house, at which point she would grab a telephone cord and garrote her to death. As soon as Norma Davis was dead, she got her credit cards, any cash in her wallet, and went on a spending spree. No one found her body for 2 days, by which point pretty much all of her money had been spent, so there wasn't even anything to follow at that point. Since it was 1994, they didn't quite have the ability to track credit card purchases like they do today. So it was much easier for her to spend all the money that she wanted and move on with her life without anyone being the wiser. Now that she's gotten away with it, she's been able to find that all she has to do is knock off a whole bunch of old ladies and she'll have all the money she wants. So now that she has a seemingly endless stream of money coming in, she decides that over the next month, she's going on a spree. And although, as we talked about in the serial killer video, a spree killer is different from a serial killer. Although she did attack all 4 women inside of 1 month, technically speaking, most serial killers have a much longer cool-down period in between. Her cool-down period was incredibly short. 10 days, I think, was the absolute longest one. So you could actually call her a spree killer instead of a serial killer, but most people have decided to deem her a serial killer. Next, in quick succession, she attacked June Roberts, Dorinda Hawkins, and Dora Beebe. And within a few hours of attacking all of them, she immediately went on a spending spree. However, one of the main reasons she was caught was because Dorinda Hawkins passed out, but didn't actually die. Dorinda Hawkins was working in a store, saw her attacker coming, tried to fight her off, but was not quite strong enough, was garroted, passed out, and woke up, called the police, and was able to give them a full, perfect description of Dana. The other reason why they were able to catch her was because back when they were investigating only one murder, Norma Davis, they already had a suspect, Jerry Armburst, who was Dana's stepmother. Since she was known to care for this lovely old lady, and she wasn't actually a blood relative, people couldn't understand why she was caring for her, except that Norma Davis was Jerry Armburst's first husband's mother. And seeing as no one else was there to care for her and she always thought she was a lovely woman, she stopped in, helped her clean the house, bought her groceries, and basically helped her with whatever she needed. However, they started to believe it wasn't her after June Roberts' murder. And when they went to the stores where June Roberts' money was used, all the clerks described the same woman who was walking with apparently her boyfriend's son, Jason. The detectives on the case went back to Jerry and said, okay, well, we understand that it's not you because you don't fit that description, but is there anyone who you might think it might be? They gave her the full description of the woman who was using June Roberts' money, as well as the young boy Jason who was with her. And Jerry Armburst said, "Oh my gosh, that's my stepdaughter, and she's dating a guy who has a son named Jason." They started looking into the possibility that it might be Dana. While they were searching for clues, Dana attacked Dorinda Hawkins. So within the next few days, they'd collected a lot of evidence saying that it was probably Dana Gray, and they had her under surveillance, watching her do a whole bunch of errands. While they were observing her, it came over the radio that there was another murder of Dora Beebe, and they realized that while they'd been following her around town, she'd been spending Dora Beebe's money. Later on that day, they arrested her. Her house basically looked like it was Christmas morning. It was covered in brand new things, including a brand new boogie board. And once they put her in the cop car, she talked about her brand new boogie board all the way to the station. She originally pled not guilty by reason of insanity, but once they put the death penalty on the table, she immediately changed her tune, confessed, and pled guilty, because in most courts, if you take responsibility for what you did, then rather than a death sentence, you get a sentence of life without parole, which is exactly what she got. The reason why people considered her to be the first and only real female serial killer, rather than one of the other female serial killers who are killing for security, money, is because it seems like Dana Gray only killed the women because she liked it. Initially, she killed for money, but she didn't have to keep killing the way she did. Most women who kill keep it away from themselves. They use a gun, they use a knife. There's something about keeping the body out there that's more of a female way of killing than men who do it close, who strangle, who garrote, who make it personal. Dana Gray is one of the only killers who did the way a man would. She garroted them, she brought it close into her body, and did it in anger, in lust, the way a man would. So although yes, she did get money from it, most people think that that may have been the reason why she started, but she did get money. She had the possibility of going out to buy a gun to keep it away from herself and kill in the usual way that women do. But instead, she kept it close. She liked this. She liked having the power of it in her hands. So my question to you guys is, what category do you think she falls in? Is she just a complete and total brat who never heard the word no in her life, absolutely loved shopping, couldn't stand the fact that there was no possible money coming in, and attempted to kill 4 women strictly for the money? Or do you think that she killed strictly because she liked killing and would have continued along that route regardless of whether or not there was money, just to keep killing? Comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. I absolutely love you guys. My scoops are beautiful. I have 2 more days on my punishment. I'm sorry this video was like so incredibly fast. I'm trying to get this video done super fast while it's still today so I don't have to do another punishment. I absolutely love you guys. My scoops are beautiful, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.